name's Jules. Welcome to my podcast, So Sweet Violet, which is basically a podcast all about crafty things. You can find me as So Sweet Violet, mostly on Instagram. I'm also on Ravelry and Etsy, and I have a blog, So Sweet Violet. Wow, it's been exciting since I last chatted to you. I've been to Florida, to Disney World, and I've met a couple of amazing friends, and yeah, it's all been very exciting. I think I'm going to save that chatter to the end of the podcast and get on with the nitty content, because I have been busy. Although I've been on holiday, I've actually had a lot of knitting time, because the flight to Florida was, I think it was something like 8.5 hours going, and because it was a daytime flight, I literally knit the whole time. So that was really exciting, and I was actually really looking forward to that. I had a fair bit of knitting time on holiday. Yeah, because we were in the car quite a lot travelling, and also I had a horrid cold and cough, so one day I just stayed home while the others went out, and I stayed in bed and I just knit and watched podcasts. And it sounds a bit miserable really to say that I missed a day of going to all the exciting parks, but I really enjoyed it. Even though I had a cold, it was really nice, it was really relaxing, and actually did me the world of good, because I was up and raring to go again the next day with a few cold tablets and lots of medicine. And then on the way home, I didn't knit too much because it was a nighttime flight, and I didn't want to keep people awake, because the lights kind of go across, the lights, you know, the lights, the cabin lights, your personal little light, if you put yours on, it kind of streams across other people, and I didn't want to keep other people awake, so I did sleep instead, actually, a little bit, which was good for me. So I've been back for about 10 days, maybe, just over a week anyway, and the first week I was really quite like a zombie. The holiday was absolutely fabulous. It really was a wonderful, wonderful holiday, but it's really exhausting. Disney World is really exhausting. We did parks nearly every day, and there's so much to do and so much to see and so much fun to have, and it's really exhausting having all that fun. So last week I really didn't do that much at all. I was just really out of sorts, so I did a lot more knitting. So I have four finished things. Well, actually kind of 6 finished things, but yeah, I have lots of a couple of works in progress, so let's get on, shall we? So first of all, finished things. Okay, I'm going to do it in order that I've got on my notes, because otherwise I'm going to get in a pickle because I'm out of practice. First of all, you'll remember possibly, if you watched my last podcast, that I was making 2 cushions. I'll insert a picture here, and they were surprises for 2 special friends who I met whilst on holiday. The first lady I met was gorgeous Rhonda, who is Birdie Butterfly on Instagram. She doesn't blog. I so wish she would blog. So one was for her, and the other cushion was for Amber, for Maker's Haven, who I also met, and I'll tell you way more about that at the end of the podcast. But meeting those 2 ladies who are now really, really special friends was quite honestly the best bits of my trip, and that holiday was fabulous. So that just tells you a lot of how much I love meeting them. The first one was for Rhonda, because I saw her first, and I did her little Bumblebee with some beautiful Liberty hexes in the colours that I know she likes, the softer colours. And the second one was for Amber, and hers is more jewel tones. I still use Liberty, in the hexies, and she loves purple, so I've made sure to add some purple in there. And I cross-stitched a little butterfly on Amber's to match the colours, the purples and the pinks, which, thinking back, I probably should have done the same on Rhonda's because she is Birdie Butterfly, not Birdie Bumblebee. Oh my goodness, there's a little teeny tiny blue tit on my window. I wish I could show you. Oh, he's gone. Oh my goodness, he is so adorable. He's gone. Where was I? Cushions, so they love them anyway, so again, more on that later on, but I just wanted to put the pictures in here because they are in my finished things section. Okay, so I have also, you won't believe this, I'm really surprised with myself, I have a whole stack of finished socks, pairs of socks. So first up, these are my February socks. And I called these my Love Day socks. And you'll have seen me knitting these if you watch my podcast previously. Previous or previously? The podcast before. All the details for all of these socks I've put on Ravelry. So if I forget to mention any details that you'd like to know, you can just pop over there. And I think I've kind of been quite good over there and put the details that will be useful. But yeah, so these are my February socks, and I mostly followed the pattern True Love Socks by Thea Priest Parker. The yarn, super pretty and perfect for February, isn't it really? The yarn is Sweet Dream by Berenvuller. I have a feeling I used 2.5 needles for these. What else do you need to know? Oh yes, of course. I knit them toe up with my usual whirlwind toe, which I've linked on nearly all of my recent sock patterns on Ravelry. So if anyone wants to have a go at that, because I've had lots of people inquiring? Doesn't sound very good, inquiring. I've had lots of people asking about that. I must have followed the heel for the True Love socks, and this pattern I actually took from another pair of socks, which again is on my Ravelry notes because I cannot remember, it was a while ago now, and I did a 1x1 twisted rib, which is really pretty. I think I'm going to use that more. So I love them, really love them. And the other one is here, ta-da! And these are for me. So that's another pair for my box of socks, which is a knit along hosted by the lovely Kristen of Wool and Vine. No, of Yarngasm podcast. Well, she is Wool and Vine. That's the yarn she sells. That's her business. And her podcast is called Yarngasm. Okay, next up. I'm just going to put my sock blocker on the floor. In fact, I've done so much talking already. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea in my new Holly Bob's mug. There we go. I got that on holiday because you have to buy a mug on holiday, don't you? This I got from, actually it was Disney, in Disney Springs. I've been to Disney World before, but they've done lots of work, especially down Disney Springs, which is kind of the shopping area of Disney World. It used to be called Downtown Disney, and they had like I think the biggest Disney shop in the world, which is quite overwhelming. I didn't spend too long in there. And they have now they have some really nice shops, and they also had an Anthropology, and I know I could have got this mug here in a town quite close to me, but I wanted it to be special. I wanted it to have those lovely memories. So, but it's very pretty. Let's see if I can show you a bit more. Isn't it pretty? Look at the little toadstools, butterflies. And inside it's pretty And this mug really reminds me of Amber as well. So she drinks out of lots of these pretty mugs. So I thought that's a perfect one for me. And I'm drinking David's tea, I believe, Strawberry and Rhubarb Parfait, which was a gift from the lovely Antonella of Antonella Makes podcast. So thank you, Antonella. I love David's tea, it's insanely good. And it's warm. It'll probably be cold soon because I don't seem to ever be able to drink a hot cup of tea on a podcast, ever. Now, back to the finished things. This is my second pair, possibly, of finished socks. I have the other one here. Ta-da! And I've called these my pink frost socks. And the stitch pattern, which is gorgeous, can you see? It's really pretty and really simple. It's really nice, simple knitting, but it keeps your interest, which is what I like. You'll see in a minute that I've made some vanilla socks. And although I really enjoyed them, because I love the yarn, there's not much interest, there's not much calling me to pick them up. You know, it doesn't make you want to get to the next bit, really. So anyway, these are my pink frost socks. The stitch pattern I took from, let me just double check this. The pattern by Vanilla Wool, which is called Sugar Frost Socks. And I believe it's a free pattern and it's absolutely lovely. I'm making the proper pattern as it's written in the making socks. But these I did my usual. I did my whirlwind toe. I carried on the first row of stitch pattern just under here. I don't know if that's going to be a bit annoying, but I thought it looked quite pretty. Fish lips kiss heel, and again 1 by 1 twisted rib. I can't remember, it's either 2.5 or 2.25 needle size. Knit the magic loop as always. So yes, that's my second finished thing for this podcast. I hope the light's okay. It's a really beautiful sunny day today, and I have a road outside my house, and when a lorry or some traffic goes past, it kind of creates a shadow, so I may have to adjust the lighting, but we'll see. And of course these are my dear little bunny blocker sockers from the knitting shed. I love these. Okay, so that's 2 pairs of socks. Number 3. Oh, I love these socks. How beautiful are these? This pattern is by the gorgeous Kay from the Bakery Bears, and it's her Prairie Socks pattern. I was really eager for her to release this pattern because I saw it on her Instagram feed and literally nearly combusted with excitement, and it did not disappoint. They are absolutely beautiful. You see the pattern? It's a really simple pattern. And it's so pretty, and I see she has another pattern which will be released soon, so I'll be after those as well, that pattern as well. I actually followed the pattern, so I actually did, no hang on, these were cuffed down, which is unusual for me, but I love them, really love them. So it was a 2 by 2 rib, and then down to an Eye of Partridge heel, which is super pretty. And then I guess that's a rounded toe. I don't really know, but it's pretty. And the yarn is by the gorgeous Amy, who is Amy Florence on Instagram. And her yarn company is Stranded Dye Works. And this colour was Nougat, which was one of a kind colourway. And I actually got it at Unravel, which I'll talk to you about a bit later too. And I met Amy, and she is an utter delight. She's lovely, lovely, lovely. And her yarn is beautiful, and I bought some minis as well, and I'll show you those soon. So that is my third pair of socks, and here's the other one. Oopsie. So beautiful, and it's such a beautifully written pattern. Kay is very, very clever. So yes, I think I've covered everything on those. I'm trying not to spend too much time on each individual thing because I have a lot to talk about today, and I don't want this podcast to be massive really, because it takes so long to upload, and also I think it takes a lot of watching when you have very long podcasts. So I have plans on that. Anyway, this is pair number 4. You may remember I spoke about some yarn that my niece gave me for Christmas, and this was one of them, one of the balls of yarn. And this was a Zauber ball, I think that's how you say it. I'm not even going to, well, I will try and say the name of the colourways. Gas? No. Don't know if you can see. So that was the yarn, and it was a crazy ball of yarn that's already balled up, so you don't need to ball it up yourself, obviously. But it produced 2 really different socks, which I absolutely love. When it came to, I knit them toe up, and when it came to doing the heel, which is a Fish Lips Kiss heel, I found the centre of the yarn ball, and used that so it didn't mess up my stripes in any way. And the same on this one. Oopsie. Probably easier to show you on this one. Yeah, so I was knitting away, whirlwind toe. Surprise, I made them a little bit long actually, I think, but it's fine. And then when I got to changing to do the heel, I put my finger in the middle of the ball and fan the end, and then knit the heel in the end, and then rejoin the main colour after the heel. So they're completely plain and vanilla, 2x2 rib, and they're really, really pretty. The colours are really fun, and I do love odd socks, amazingly. I'm quite controlling in lots of ways, but I do like odd things. I don't really own a set of anything. I like lots of odd things. So they're really pretty. I have another one of these balls as well in, I think it's more like navy and purple, I think. So yeah, they're really fun. And again, you'll find some pictures on my Ravelry page of more details. Can't even remember what size needle I used. Oh, needles, I must mention this. I was a bit worried about taking needles on the plane. So I got some wooden cable needles, and they were absolutely fine. I had no trouble whatsoever, and I shan't even worry in the future. So if you're travelling on a plane, just get some wooden ones. They're absolutely brilliant. I mean, I prefer knitting on metal ones, but if I couldn't knit on the plane, it would have been quite miserable. And I got so much knitting. I literally knit nearly a whole one of my Prairie Socks. About 3/4 of a Prairie Sock was knit on the plane, so that really kept me busy, and I loved it, and the journey went really quickly. So that was really good fun. I think that is all of my finished things, and I hope... Oh, I didn't tell you what I called these. These are called my Emerald Island socks, because the house we stayed in on holiday was in kind of like a gated community, and it was called Emerald Island. So they're my Emerald Island socks, and they are for Bryony. The rest are for me, but I'm being nice and generous and giving these ones to Bryony. I think that's all my finished things in the making. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to show you this bag because it is insanely cute. And you'll recognise it, I think. How adorable is this bag. Look at all those gorgeous fabrics. And look at this one especially. It's got the cutest little mice on. Ah, I can't tell you how much I love this bag. Oh, it fills me with so much joy. Anyway, inside here are my March socks. There's a bit of a story to these March socks. Amber from Maker's Haven also has this same yarn, which is Moaning Myrtle from the gorgeous Nora George. I've had this skein that Tracy gifted me quite a long time ago now, and I've been waiting for the perfect project for it. It's so pretty. It's grey with beautiful purples and pinks and pale pinks and sparkle. Nice. So we decided that we'd try and knit the same socks for March. I'm not sure if Amber is actually doing hers for March now. I think her kind of schedule's gone a bit crazy, but I'm carrying on anyway, and I think Amber will be knitting them at some point. If actually, I think she started them. Yeah, she started them. So this is my socks so far. Did I put it on a blocker? I think that's the best idea. So we thought it would be fun, as we both had the same yarn, both loved it, as Amber's putting some purple in every pair of socks she's knitting this year, that we'd knit them together. So this is how far I've got, and the pattern is Mount Airy Socks on Ravelry, and it's a free pattern. Gosh, there's so many wonderful free patterns, we're so lucky. I've not followed the actual sock pattern as usual for me, but I am doing the Mount Airy stitch pattern, which is kind of a spiral. Let me see if I can show you a bit closer. Maybe you can see on the leg a bit more. And there we go. And the little pearl bumps make a spiral around the leg, which is really a beautiful detail and very clever. Simple but really clever. This yarn is so pretty, isn't it? Look at that. I'm not sure if this pattern is the best pattern probably for this yarn really, because I'm not sure the stitch pattern shows up that well, but I love them anyway, and I love them even more because Amber and I will have very similar socks. So I did my usual whirlwind toe. This is 64 stitch, no actually this is 60 stitches, this sock, because of the stitch pattern. Obviously it called for a different number of total stitches for the stitch pattern to work, so this is a 60 stitch sock, so I used a 2.5 needle. It's so pretty. I honestly can't remember. This is a mini and I can't remember where it's from, but it's very pretty. It's got little specks of black in it. Gorgeous colour. I used the heel from the Time for Tea socks by the gorgeous Abby Morris, which is again another lovely, lovely pattern. Oh, in fact, I think I'm wearing a pair of Time for Tea socks. Sorry, they're a bit stretched out. They have lovely bobbles on. I'm trying to wear handmade socks every day, so I need to make lots more, so I'm going well. Yeah, these are my Time for Tea socks, which I'm wearing today. And these are made from Amber's yarn, actually. That's funny. I saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus, I think. These are my Christmas Eve cast on. So, anyway, I took the heel from this Time for Tea pattern and used it on my March Mount Airy socks. Do I need to say anything more about these? Gosh, I feel very out of practice. There we go. Oh, this little stitch marker. I don't know if you can see. Oops. Oh, turn around, little birdie. I want to see you. I think I showed you my last podcast or the one before, possibly my last podcast. And they're from the lovely Karen of Sunnyside Handmaids, a shop on Etsy. And they sell gorgeous needle gauge, what do you call them? Needle gauges and stitch markers and progress keepers and all sorts of lovely things, jewellery as well. And that's just marking where I started my gusset increases. So I think I've covered everything. I'm going to tell you more about the yarn. So the yarn was Tracy from Nora George, and it's in her silver sock in the Moaning Myrtle colourway. And it's 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina. And of course they're in my beautiful Maker's Haven bag, and I feel so honoured to have one of those. So that is my first in the making. The next is, okay, another pair of socks. Honestly, I'm sock crazy. I have knit this year, I think finished 5 pairs of socks already. I'm really chuffed about that because last year I didn't make the 12 pairs of socks. But I'm going well. Okay, this pair I've shown several times, so I won't talk about them too long. But these are my Mrs. Tiggywinkle socks, and these are for my sweet bee, Bryony, that's her nickname. And these are knit out. Oh, I've dropped a stitch. Have I? Excuse me. Yeah, I have as well. Okay, I need to keep that. Look at that. Drop stitch. Do you know, I keep doing that lately. I think I've been really tired and I'm just not focusing on what I'm doing. Anyway, I'll sort that out. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? I seem to make a mistake on everything I make. I don't think I've ever made anything without a mistake. I don't know if is that normal? I'd love to be one of those people who never made, who at least had something without a mistake in. I know you won't see it when it's fixed, but I know it's there and it's annoying. Anyway, the yarn is by the lovely Diane of Elm Tree Yarns, and it's called Mrs. Tiggywinkle, which, I love Beatrix Potter, so that's really lovely. And actually, I was watching the gorgeous Opera Joe yesterday, and she is hosting a Beatrix Potter knit along, so that's exciting. I think I might be entering in that. Although saying that, I have all these ideas of entering different knit-alongs, and I knit along and I just forget to enter. But anyway, it's the knitting along that brings you all the joy, isn't it? So there we go. So I finished one. Oops. There's one finished sock. Really pretty colours. Can you see that? There's lovely pinks and beige and blue and cream. So Miss Tiggywinkle. So yes, so that's those in the making. Oh, the pattern. This is the proper pattern that the lovely Mary Ann of Vanilla Wool released that I was talking about. I used the stitch pattern for these, but this is the actual, I've followed the pattern properly. So it's cuffed down. That looks like, is that a twisted rib? No, I think that's just a 1x1 rib. And then I followed the pattern for the heel, which I don't know what all these things are called, but I think it's like heel flap and gusset, I would say. And so I'm going down the foot, and I'll soon be finished. I am finished with my gusset decreases. You can see there. And now I'm knitting along the foot, so it's just a bit of foot and the toe, and then I'll be finished, and it's just a rounded toe. Let me put it on a blocker for you. Oh, I love these. They are the cutest. Okay, I feel I'm getting into the swing of this now. It was so hard to start today. I had so many false starts. Saying hello seems to be the hardest thing in the world sometimes. Anyway, there we go. Super duper lovely pattern, and I would recommend this pattern. It's really well written, it's really simple and really effective. So they are for my lovely Bryony, my daughter. She's already tried them on and fallen in love with them, so that makes me really happy. She's very knit worthy. I think she's the most knit worthy person I know, which is super lovely. I'm going to be teaching her to knit soon, but she has a really busy schedule this time of year. It really builds up towards the summertime, so probably be in the autumn. So that's really exciting. Oh, excuse me 1 second. I have things dropping all over the place. So these are homed in my very, very cute Little Bobbins and Little Bobbins mum bag, which is adorable and I love. Still in the making, I have something new and exciting. Let me get myself comfy again. I'm just going to have some more tea. It's such a lovely day today. It's so spring-like, and I feel like spring is not tiptoeing anymore. It's strolling into March. It's beautiful. There's all bulbs coming up everywhere. It's lovely. Okay, so my last in the making is a shawl. The Bumblebee Shawl is still on the naughty step, but actually before I show you this one, I just want to talk about the Bumblebee Shawl. I really, really love the Bumblebee Shawl and I want to make it, but I'm not happy. The patterned panel went completely wrong, which I spoke about last time, but I'm not happy about the edges. I feel like the edges are too tight. So I'm literally going to unpick the whole thing and start it again. There's more. Oh gosh. I'm going to start my happy patchwork blanket again. I'm not happy with that. And I'm also going to start my breathing space sweater again. I adore that sweater, but I made a mistake. I wonder if I can show you. Hang on 1 second. I've got a feeling this podcast... Oh, goody. I've got a feeling this podcast is going to go on because I keep going on a tangent, don't I? Oh, that's not it. That's something else in my little house bag. Okay, this is my breathing space, which I adore, and it's knit out of the Wool Barn, and I've knit quite a lot, but I feel like since I started this I've got so much better at knitting, and I understand patterns and gauge and finding the right needle size to create a lovely fabric. And this is it, and it is beautiful. Ooh, the light's funny. It's a lovely warm pink, lilac-y pink. Can you see this? This is going to really annoy me if I carry on. I don't know what I did there, but I don't like it. Oops, sorry about the colour. It's weird, isn't it? It'll change now. And I feel like it's too thin. Oh, is it? Yeah, because I think I'd have to wear a camisole under it. So I think it would be a little bit see-through. And I don't really want a see-through sweater. So I'm definitely going to knit it, and I think I'll probably unpick it maybe this weekend and start it again. But it is very pretty. It's just, I don't want to dedicate hours and hours of time to something that when I'm finished with it, I know my eyes is going to be drawn to the mistakes, and I just want it to be not perfect because it's handmade, and handmade is not perfect, is it? And that's the And that's the joy of handmade, really. There's me saying I don't want any mistakes, but you know. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's going to be lots of unpicking. I'm unpicking my Bumblebee, I'm unpicking my breathing space, and I'm starting my happy patchwork blanket again. So watch this space. You'll feel like you're having deja vu when you watch my podcast in a while, because it'll be all the things that I've already talked about. It's like, I've just started my breathing space. Anyway, let's pop that back. I'm just going to put my sock on as well because my foot's getting cold. Ooh, that was nice. Okay, so on to my last in the making. My tea's still warm. That's amazing, isn't it? I'm making, after the Bumblebee Shawl disappointment, I thought, I keep thinking I'm rubbish at knitting. I can knit socks, but I haven't done much else. I've knit one shawl maybe 2 or 3 years ago, which was one of Molly's a homespun house patterns. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, I knit it and it turned out beautiful, but the yarn I'd used, although I loved it, was really itchy. I didn't really think about it. I didn't feel I knew enough about matching yarn projects, etc. And I've knit one cardigan, which is my Celine cardigan, which I'm pretty happy with that actually, and I do wear that a lot, but mostly around the house. So this new shawl I'm knitting is the Oklets Shawl, and it looks very simple, and it is very simple so far. I've knit all the plain part now. Whoops, let me unravel it slightly. It's a bit gathered up here, but I've knit all the plain and I'm just about to start on the lace at the bottom. I've been really aware to keep this edge looser, but it still looks a little tight, but I'm guessing it'll block out. And it's got this lovely increased detail down the centre. I guess I should show you that way because that's the way it'll be. I did, the yarn I'm using, I'm really sorry I've dropped it on the floor, hang on. The yarn I'm using is this, which was gifted to me by my gorgeous friend Rhonda, Birdie Butterfly, on Instagram. And it's Knox yarn. Let's see if I can find the details. There we go, Knox yarn, and it's on her Mars base, which is 75/25 merino nylon, and it's called Maynard, I think that's how you say it. So pretty. It's really spring-like, and this is why I've called it my spring, no, my something spring shawl. It's on Ravelry. So anyway, it looked to me, if you look at this, it looked quite long from this point to when you start the pattern, and mine looked really short. But when I read my yarn details, there was more yardage in this than, because this is a one skein project, but my skein had more yardage. So I added another 4 repeats of the basic shawl pattern. So now I'm ready to start my lace, which is a little scary after the Bumblebee incident. But it's so pretty, absolutely pretty. So I'm really hoping next time I podcast, I'll be wearing this. And I'll be a proper podcaster then, that's what I feel. The needles I'm using are, let me see, I think they're 375. Yep, 375 Chalgu, which has such a lovely cable. I find them a bit unflexible for socks, actually, Chalgu, although I do use them occasionally. They are It's a really nice sturdy cable, so it's perfect for shawls. So yes, that's very exciting. So I actually have a shawl that's working. So fingers crossed for me that once I start the lace, which I don't think looks too complicated. Let's see if I can find a close-up. No close-up. You might see a little bit there. So it doesn't look too bad. And that is homed in my lovely mermaid bag, which I made for myself. Okay, so that is that. And I think that's everything in the making. I'm going to have a sip of tea again before it's cold. Okay, I've renamed the next section New Treasure. A few weeks ago, it's probably about a month ago, I might be able to tell you actually. This was Unravel, it's their brochure. And it was on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, 17, 18 and 19th of February. So the middle of February this was. I decided to go to Unravel. I could only go on the Friday, and I hadn't really decided if I could be brave enough. I know that sounds really silly, but crowds make me very anxious. I don't feel very comfortable in them, and I think I was having a very anxious, particularly anxious few days, but I really wanted to go. And I woke up on the Friday morning and Bryony had a day off of work, and she wasn't originally planning on coming with me, and I said to her, I don't think I can go. It's only 20 minutes away, so you know, it is really local to me, and I hadn't been to a yarn festival before, I don't think. No, not a dedicated yarn festival. And she said, oh come on mum, you know, you can do it. But I really felt I couldn't that day, and she said, well you are, and I'm taking you. So she gathered me up and put me in the car, and off we went to Unravel, and it was really kind of her, and we did have a lovely time. I know this sounds really weird. I felt like I was out of my body. I got myself in a bit of a pickle, but once I got inside and calmed down and saw the yarn, it was really exciting. First of all, we went round together. She came with me. It feels sad, doesn't it, that I had to take my daughter with me, but anyway, that was just how it was that day. First of all, we went downstairs to Amy's stand, which is Stranded Dye Works, Amy Florence on Instagram. Oh my goodness, her yarn is utterly beautiful, and I bought this yarn, which I've already knitted into these beautiful prairie socks. And I also bought these gorgeous minis, which I think are just called Cool colours. Yes, Unravel 17 Cool. You can see her little card there. Amy's dyeing is so beautiful, and she is so beautiful as well, and she makes me giggle so much. I love her. So that was our first stall, and I got myself really brave and I introduced myself to Amy, and we had a little chat, and she's just delightful. She really is lovely. So that was my first purchase, and while we were sort of standing around looking in that area, a lady came up to me who I've been following, and I think she's been following me for years. We blog together, and now we're on Instagram, and it was kind of surreal, and she probably thinks I'm a right ninky. But that's, it was lovely Paula from the Snail Garden, and she's so gentle and lovely, and she just came up to me and said hello and introduced herself, and I was so taken back that someone had come up to me and known who I was. So I'm really sorry, Paula, if I wasn't very chatty. I was just really surprised and taken aback. But it was so lovely to meet you, and I'm hoping one day we can meet again and have a proper chatter. So that was that. And then we wandered around. I didn't buy very much because it was really busy, and my brain doesn't work like a shopper when things are busy. My brain works like I want to escape when things are really busy. But as we were wandering around, we passed the knitting shed stall. This is where I bought these from. And I was chatting away to Bryony, and the lady from the stall came over to me and said, "Are you Jooles, So Sweet Violet?" And again I was like, yes I am, so weird. And she said she was so grateful that I'd mentioned her sock blockers because she'd got lots of custom from me mentioning them, which is amazing and thrilling all at the same time. And she said, "I'd like to give you these because you mentioned you'd like them." And these are mitten blockers. They're mouse. So now I have Bonnie and Mouse. And we had a little chat, and she was so lovely. And she just gifted them to me. Gosh, people are so kind. I felt like I was walking on air after that. It was so exciting. So thank you so much. I love them, and I can't wait to make some mitts. Look at those little thumbs. There we go. If you want to see the label, Ainsworth and Prynne. I think she makes these, or her friend of hers makes these, but her actual website is the Knitting Shed, and I'll put all the details to everything I mention on my podcast. So yes, so how lovely. I'm really pleased with those. So that was something else I got. And just before we were leaving, this was kind of right down the bottom because it's in an old, what is it called? It was a really old building, and I think it was an old brewery. I might have got that wrong. But it's at the Farnham Maltings, and I grew up very near Farnham. I used to live in Bentley, I don't know if anyone knows that, but it's quite near Farnham. And now I'm only 20 minutes away. So anyway, on the way out, we went to Sparkle Duck. And I bought these. I bought 2 of these. And I thought I would make some ombre socks. These are Bryony's. We both wanted the same pack, which is this pack. Yeah, I hope you can see through the plasticky sparkly. These minis from Sparkle Duck are called ducklings. Have you ever heard anything cuter? So these are a gaggle of mini skeins called ducklings. I can't read what it's called. That's the name of the colour. Looks to me, it says Pinker Panthers. I think I might have got that wrong. But anyway, there's 6 20-gram mini skeins in here. And yes, I'm going to make some ombre socks. And one sock is going to go from dark to bright, and the other one is going to go from bright to light. So this turned out to be Bryony's, even though I really wanted them. I got these, which are actually really beautiful and probably more me. And these are called Lipstick Kisses. So we're going to have ombre socks in slightly different colours. So I love those. So if there's 6 20 grams, so there'll be leftovers as well, so hopefully I can put those in my new happy patchwork blanket. So that was Unravel. A few people came up to me and said, "I love the podcast," and chatted to me, and it was really strange but lovely. I think if I was there a bit longer I'd have kind of got used to it, and it was just really exciting but daunting. So anyway, I'm getting myself out there a bit more, hopefully, and I need to up my game because I possibly might go to Edinburgh Yarn Festival next year with someone special. Okay, so that was my new treasure from Unravel. This is really exciting. I'm going to have a bit more tea because I'm getting a dry throat. I've still got a bit of a tickly throat from that cough and cold. It's cold, but I'm going to drink it anyway. Pretend it's iced tea. The lovely Anna, who is Analog on Ravelry, got in touch with me a few weeks ago and said that she would love to knit a hat, but she lives in Australia and there's not much need for hats, but she really wanted to try this brioche pattern. And she said she knows I wanted a hat. Could she knit me one? Well, yes, please. How kind is that? To think that someone spent lots of time knitting for me is just so lovely. Anyway, this hat is stunning. Look at this. Isn't that the most amazing pattern? The talent Anna has is incredible. It's called the Liguria Hat. And the pattern's on Ravelry, and again I'll link it in the show notes. But isn't it beautiful? She also sent these. It says in case of repair. How cute. Oh, that is so cute. Oh. Yeah, so the hat is absolutely beautiful. I could only dream of knitting something like this. And it's literally perfection. Again, I could only dream of knitting something like this. The colour is beautiful. It fits perfectly. I'm not going to put it on because my hair can get crazy. But it fits perfectly and I absolutely adore it. And the colour is gorgeous. Isn't she clever? I'm so touched. Honestly, so touched. People in this community are the kindest people in the world. And I feel so lucky to be a part of it. So that's absolutely beautiful. I've never tried brioche. Maybe that's something I should have a go at this year. Anyway, I wanted to show that. So thank you, Anna. I absolutely adore it and I will treasure it, especially as it's in my new treasure section. It's really soft too. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little... I have to excuse my croakiness. I received another parcel from the gorgeous Amy, who is Little Tailoress on Instagram, and she podcasts as well. I love Amy. She's special. Look what she sent me. She said she was dyeing it up and she remembered I loved that colour between pink and purple. Look at that. That is so perfect. Now it hasn't got the colour name on here, but I'm sure she called it crocus, which is perfect. I mean, look at this. See, this would be the inside and it's yellow, which is the most gorgeous yellow because I don't always like yellow, but this is the most gorgeous yellow. It's got little touches of kind of a saffron colour, which is quite appropriate for crocus, isn't it? And this, look at that colour. It is heavenly. And I think Amy is a magical, magical yarn dyer. Look at that. So beautiful. And she's only recently started dyeing yarn, I think possibly a couple of months ago, and her colourways are so pretty. And this is a high twist sock, light fingering weight, and it's 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, and there's 450 meters in this 100 grams, which is a good meterage. So utterly beautiful, and these could be nothing else than a pair of socks with toes and heels in that, and I am desperate to cast on. But I've realised lately I am happier if I have less works in progress, so that's why I've been trying to knit up all my socks and finish them so I can start some new ones. So I think my aim would be to have a garment, a shawl or something similar. That was my foot squeaking. A pair of simple socks and possibly a pair of more challenging socks. So 4 things I think, oh, and my blankets. 5 things I think is my max to feel happy and not stressed. So these are going to be some incredible socks. She also sent me some other minis of her own colours. Some Smarties, some tea and some beautiful stitch markers. So thank you, Amy. I'm really touched. Get on over there. Okay, now the next things in my new treasure came from my holiday. First of all, from my meeting with Rhonda, and I think I'll chat about our meeting now rather than saving it towards the end because it kind of fits in. So I think I'd been in, we stayed in a house about kind of 10 to 15 minutes away from most of the parks. Some are obviously closer than others. And Rhonda had asked me when she found out I was going to Disney World if we could meet. And I was like, oh my goodness, that would be so lovely. We've been friends on Instagram for quite a long time and we're very similar in the colours we love and the things we love and our love of Disney World as well. And so she said, I'd love to meet you. And I was like, I'd love to meet you as well. So we arranged a meet up and in the end she came to my family went off to a park and she came to our holiday house. And I was so excited but so nervous at the same time. Anyway, we met and that was so wonderful. You kind of, you know, don't you, instantly if you're going to really get on with somebody, and I knew instantly. And she came in for a little while because we had gifts for each other. And look what she gifted me. Look at that bag. Isn't that so amazing? Look at all the beautiful fabric she's used. And she called this her favourite things bag. She used all her favourite fabrics on here for me. And I'm so touched and thankful and I adore it. And this will definitely be treasured. Look, it's got a little bumblebee in here. And she knows I love bumblebees. And here it's got some more, these are progress keepers, a little ladybird or ladybug and a heart. It's got a lovely handle. But not only did she give me this, she gifted me another bag and lots of other bits and pieces, some gorgeous hand cream. I can't show you everything because I feel my podcast will get so long. Here's her little label, birdie butterfly. Oh, she's so lovely, honestly. And then she gave me the most gorgeous yarn. This is my dream yarn. This is the amazing Bethany's yarn, Woolberry Fibre Co. I love Bethany. She has an amazing podcast, so maybe go and watch that one too. And this colour is called Poppies. It's so pretty. Oh, I think Amber, I think you might like this. So that was a gift from Rhonda. And look at this one. So pretty. And this is from a brand I've never tried before called Peepaloo Fields. And the colour is called Bumble. And I'll tell you why that's so appropriate in a little while. But that is so pretty. Honestly, she's spoiled me so much. And then there's this one, which is Farmer's Daughter's Fibre. She told me a story about this, but I think it's quite local to her. And I'm sorry, Rhonda, I probably forgot the whole story you told me because I was so in awe of just being with you. I don't think I listened properly. But it's Rocky Mountain Pearls. It's 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, and the colour is Jellystone. How beautiful is that? It was so exciting. We had so much to chat about, honestly, and she also gave me this dear little tin with cherries on, and look at this inside here. She's gifted me some East, oh hang on, I'm just going to untangle them so you can see better. Okay, she gifted me some Easter stitch markers, so a little bunny. I don't know if you can see that well. I'm recording on my iPhone so it doesn't do that focus thing. Another little bunny, another little bunny, a carrot and a sweet little shell, all on this little holder like a kilt pin in its cozy little bed. Oh, so gorgeous. I literally adore everything Rhonda. And anyway, so we were chatting away and we'd arranged that Rhonda would drive us to a yarn shop about, I think it was about 30 or 40 minutes away from where we were staying. So she drove me and we actually drove through the orange groves, or just kind of outskirts of the orange groves. So that was really exciting. And I kind of helped her navigate, which I was absolutely useless at. If you'd have known, Rhonda, how bad I am at navigating in my own country, you would not have asked my help. I'm useless with direction. So she drove us to this gorgeous yarn shop and we were chatting all the way, and it was very surreal. And we came to the yarn shop and it was cool. Now I kept the card. Oh, here it is. Excuse me 1 second. This is the yarn shop we visited. And it's called Four Pearls. It was amazing. The yarn shops in the UK, well the yarn shops I know in the UK, local to me, are not like this. They sell basically baby yarn, and they sell a few nicer yarns like wool, but there's quite a lot of acrylic, and nothing wrong with that, but you know, I've got a bit of a yarn snob recently. This shop was amazing. They had loads of, loads of hedgehog fibres and Malabrigo, and I can't even remember. I mean, just so much. I could have spent an absolute fortune. But I was very controlled because I only had a certain amount of holiday spending money. So my purchases were this bag. Oh, I love it. Llama Rama. It's plain on the back, and I love the stripy handles. And inside, we walked around this yarn shop chattering and looking at all the yarns and oohing and ahhing, and they had a beautiful shawl on display, and it was a 3-colour cashmere shawl. Is that Hohi Locatelli? I'm not sure, I better not say that, although I have. So we decided, we loved it so much, we decided we'd make one together. But the shawl we saw was kind of our heaven shawl. You couldn't improve on it. The colours were amazing. So we both got exactly the same colours that was knitted in the sample. Oh, so pretty. The yarn is Bar Savannah. This colourway, it's actually not as bright as that. It's not as bright as this. It's a really pretty pink. And this one's called Pretty in Pink, quite appropriately. This one is called Fuchsia. Again, it's a deeper, less vivid colour. I'd say like crushed raspberry maybe. And the lovely, lovely cream, which is called La Perla. So, excuse me. We are going to be making this shawl together. I hope I can do it. So I adore those colours, and they really are my colours and Rhonda's colours. I didn't buy anything else, but I was so tempted. I'm pretty proud of myself, but now I'm kicking myself I didn't get any hedgehog fibres. Never mind. I didn't want to overspend. Holidays are expensive, aren't they? So, oh, I didn't tell you yarn. So the yarn content is 10% cashmere, 10% nylon and 80% superwash merino. So in my little 4 pearls bag. So that was super exciting and we did have such a lovely time together. So after we chatted and got excited around the yarn shop, Rhonda drove us straight back to Epcot where my family had been all morning, and we parted ways and that was really sad. But do you know, we will meet again. We're already hatching plans, so that's really good to know. But Rhonda, I love you. Okay, so the very next day, I think it was on the Thursday, so I met Rhonda on the Wednesday, and on the Thursday of my first week I met Amber from Makers Haven. And this is so strange. I was watching her podcast maybe a couple of months ago, and she was really excited because she said she was going to Disney World, and I hadn't mentioned that I was going to Disney World. And when I heard her say, I thought, that's amazing. How weird that we're both going to Disney World, you know, in the same year. So and then she said when she was going, and I thought, that could coincide with our holiday. Anyway, I checked the dates and it did. So I messaged her. I was like, Amber, we're going to be in Disney World at the same time. And we both had like a screaming match on Instagram direct message. Really excited. And so we arranged to meet. I mean, what are the chances of that? It's like 1 in a million. And I adore Amber. I feel like she is such a good friend just from watching her on her podcast. She is the sweetest human being. Anyway, so we arranged to meet with much excitement and lots of messages, and she decided we were going to meet in a park, and we weren't quite sure what to do because obviously she had her little children with her, who, by the way, are utterly adorable. They are the cutest children I have ever met. They're so well behaved and they're sweet little American accents. Oh, I love them. I love them so much. So anyway, she decided, well actually we both decided it would be better to meet at our holiday house, kind of less stressful, and the children could play and do what they wanted. So they checked out on Thursday in the morning and they came straight to us. And it was so strange because I only know Amber through a screen and she only knows me through a screen. So to have her stand like next to me in touching distance was just surreal. And we literally just hugged, and I think I may have teared up quite a lot. And it was so lovely, so lovely. Oh, I have such good memories of meeting my two lovely friends. Anyway, so lots of chatting and lots of, oh, I can't believe you're here, and I can't believe it's you. And so anyway, I'd got the children some colouring books and some colouring pencils to kind of keep them happy and doing what they wanted to do. And our husbands, they got on really well, so I got them some coffee and I made us and the children some nice, I think it was seriously nutty tea or something. And we just sat down and we chatted and chatted and chatted, and the children played and I chatted to them. And oh, they're cute as cute, they really are. And I placed an order with Amber because I knew we were going to meet and it would save on shipping and import duties. So she bought that, and then she bought me some gifts as well. So I'll show you what I purchased from her shop first. Oh, Amber's dying. Excuse me, that's really unattractive. Amber's dyeing is utterly magical. Look at this. So pretty, and it's sparkly, gold sparkly. So beautiful. And this is on her lovely sock, and it's called I Must Go. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but Amber's yarn names always have a lovely reference, so I'm not sure what that is. That's her Makers Haven label. and it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon and 5% sparkle, and it's a 2-ply, but the colours are stunning. If you get a chance to get hold of some of Amber's yarn, do it. It is really lovely. I also purchased this, which is Periwinkle Blue, her little, I don't know what she calls them, just mini skein. I thought they had some other name. In Periwinkle Blue, and I think it's a 20-gram mini skein, because I want all of her yarn. And sock blank. How pretty is this? It's possibly not as bright as it's showing up again. Don't know what's going on with the light. Oh, how beautiful. I've started to unravel it a little by mistake. So I've never knit from a sock blank before, so I'm really excited about that. And this is her. This was around the sock blank, but I had to undo it, of course. It's her Daydreamer sock blank. And it's utterly beautiful and so soft. And I love, in my new gifts, I just love the thought of my friends' hands making these things, the hat, Rhonda's bag, the dyed yarn. It just makes you feel so close to you. It makes you feel so close to your friends. It's lovely. And she very cheekily gifted me some lovely yarn. Look at this. This is, I think it's her Wildflower mini skein set. I seem to have misplaced the label. It's here somewhere, but if you could see the mess I'm in, you wouldn't be surprised that I can't find it. Look at the colours. Absolutely beautiful. And I know she made another set a bit like this called When the Sun Kisses the Sea, and there's a shawl. She's been talking about it, but I can't remember the name of the shawl. It's a free pattern. Oh, look. If you watch Amber's podcast, she talks about it quite a lot, and these mini skein sets are perfect for knitting the shawl pattern. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Amber's knitting hers from When the Sun Kisses the Sea mini skein set, and I'm going to knit mine out of Wildflowers. And look at that little stitch marker. Oh, it's so cute. I dropped more on the floor. Excuse me. She also gifted me amethyst. I don't know what that says. Oh, amethyst collection. How pretty is that? And that'll make some gorgeous heel cuffs and toes on socks. And also this one. Oh my goodness. Cloud gazing. How pretty. So I feel like I have been thoroughly spoiled rotten, and I'm a very happy girl. And so Amber and I were chatting away, and it was great that the husbands got on as well, because that gave us kind of free knitting chatting time. We didn't do any knitting. We were just so busy going, I can't believe you're here, I can't believe you're here, and hugging each other. And it was just like chatting to a friend I'd known for 30 years. That would be hard because Amber's only 30. Okay, 20 years. It was just wonderful, and we are hatching plans to see each other again, as are Rhonda and I. So exciting. And honestly, those 2 days were the highlight of our holiday, like I said before. And it was so hard to say goodbye to both of them. I just adore them so much. So Amber and Rhonda. Okay, now I think I'm sorry this podcast is so long. I have plans to make them a little shorter and a little more frequent. So now the holiday's kind of done, and hopefully my routine will be a bit more routine-y. Podcast love. my friend Chrissy, who is Chrissy Crafts on Instagram and on YouTube, and she has a blog as well called Chrissy Crafts. She has just started a podcast, which is really exciting. We've been friends for quite a few years and she's very special. I'd say her two main crafts are embroidery and crochet, which she teaches. And she is very talented and very, very lovely. So I would really say pop over and give her a watch. So well done, Chrissy. You're doing such a great job and you're like a pro. I'd say you're way more professional than me and I've been doing it much longer. I'm really unprofessional. In other news, seems like a really silly section. I'm trying to section my podcast so it's kind of clearer to watch. So basically, in other news, I have a make-along coming up, but I am going to do a separate video all about the make-along because I don't want this video to go on forever, and I think it'll be nice to have it separate so that if you just want to find out about the make-along, you can just watch that video to refresh yourself. And the make-along is called Be Happy Make-along. Be as in Bumblebee. Now, this make-along is going to coincide with my daughter, who I've always called Sweet Bee, as in bee, Bumblebee. It will coincide with her birthday. And spring, there's lots of bumblebees around and buzzing around and collecting their pollen to make their honey. And what's better than being happy, you know? So this is a Be Happy make-along. And I've called it a make-along because it's not just knitting, it's anything that you craft with your hands. Sewing, painting, crochet, embroidery, knitting, whatever. And it's going to start on the 1st of April, and I think I'll just say that basically everything you make for it to enter needs to be bee related in some way. So it can be yellow yarn, it can be, the pattern name could be, I saw a sweater which is called Honey. It could be a honeycomb pattern on something. It could, I am very free and easy on my make-alongs. If you can relate it to bees in any way, that's fine with me. Like beautiful meadow flower colours, or I don't know, you know, I'm happy for you to use your imagination on that front. I have started a little collection in Ravelry with some ideas of knitting patterns. Do I want to say anything else? I don't want to tell you everything now because that's silly if I'm doing another video. But yes, it starts on the 1st of April. So if you want to have a look at some ideas and colourways, so forth, then please go ahead and do that. I'll post another video on YouTube. It'll be next week at some point, but certainly before the 1st of April. Oh yeah, I started a little bundle in my Ravelry page. It's called, if you look at my favourites, the bundle's called Be Happy Make-along, and I've just been on Ravelry just finding things that are related to bees in any way. So you can have a look at that, and yeah, so that's really exciting. And I shall be making Bumblebee project bags, of course, and there'll be lovely Bumblebee related prizes, which I haven't organised yet, but there'll be some good things. So yes, so I'll see you next week on that front. Show notes for this episode will, as always, be on my blog. May take me a few days to get them up there, but they'll definitely be there, and that's So Sweet Violet on Blogspot. Shop news. Last week I didn't really do much because I was very tired, jet lagged, and not myself at all, and I think I was still getting over this cold. But if you see behind me, there, I have started making some butterfly canvases. Maybe I should go get it. This is what I've been making. Well, I've started making. They look so simple, don't they? I always think, gosh, that looks so simple. But they take a very long time to make. There are so many ends. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 ends per butterfly label to tie in at the back. There's lots of separate stitching, really tricky to get them straight and lined up, and yeah, they're tricky, but I love them. I really adore them. And they look like a Victorian specimen of butterflies. And can you see there? That is also one of these, and it's been put inside a IKEA frame, which I've made this to fit perfectly in, although I think it looks absolutely gorgeous like that. I really love the simplicity of that. And these are all Liberty fabrics, and underneath is the name of the Liberty fabric and the colour of the butterfly. So it's literally rainbow order: red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, violet, purple, pink. And there'll be 2 options. There'll be this option, which will be ready-made with all the names of the butterflies underneath them, and there's a second option where on the pink butterfly, this label here, you can have a personalised message. You could have sweet Rhonda, or beautiful Amber, or happy birthday, or there is a limit to how many characters, which will be in the listing. I'll put some information on my blog notes for this podcast so you can read up before they are available on Friday. So these will be available on Friday the 24th at 2 p.m. GMT time. I love them, they're so pretty. So yes, I've been making those, and I'm also planning on making some bunny tail project bags. So I haven't started those yet, but I have them all in my mind. So if I can get my butterflies this week, it'll be bunny tail bags for the next couple of weeks, and I'll let you know how I get on with that. Well, I think that's everything. It's been quite a long podcast again. I've got through a lot though, haven't I? Pretty good. I am going now to have a nice hot cup of coffee and maybe a little chocolate that I brought home from Disney World. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for popping by. I really love it that you do, and you're amazing. See you soon. Bye. I don't know how to start this.